Hello and welcome. Thank you for visiting the channel. Today, I'd like to talk with you about something very important, something that often gets overlooked, especially after the age of 65. How to improve short-term memory. Have you ever walked into a room and suddenly forgotten why you went there? Or picked up a phone only to realize you can't remember who you intended to call? If that sounds familiar, you're not alone. These little lapses happen to many people, and sometimes we accept them as just part of getting older. But here's the truth. You can absolutely improve your memory, no matter your age. The human brain has an incredible ability. It can keep learning, keep adapting, and keep growing, as long as we give it the chance. And today, I want to help you discover 5 simple, practical tips to boost your short-term memory after 65. These aren't complicated theories, but small actions you can easily begin using today in your everyday life. Let's begin with something that seems simple, but is truly the foundation for good memory. Focus. Many times, we forget not because our brain is failing, but because we weren't fully paying attention in the first place. Think back to the last time you misplaced your glasses or keys. Chances are your mind was elsewhere, full of thoughts, while your actions were on autopilot. When we go through daily tasks half-focused, the brain doesn't properly record the information into short-term memory. And if it's not stored clearly, how can we expect to retrieve it later? That's why learning to be present and focused is the first, most important step to improving memory. You can start with small practices. When you set down your keys, look directly at the spot and tell yourself, I'm putting my keys here. When someone speaks to you, stop what you're doing, listen carefully, and mentally repeat what they've said. When you're making a shopping list, try to remember items in your head first before checking your written list. A senior friend once shared with me that every morning, she quietly recites her daily plans and mentally pictures each task. Over time, this habit has kept her mind sharp, even into her 70s. It's a simple practice, but one that makes a big difference when done regularly. The second tip is to move your body regularly. You might wonder, what does physical activity have to do with memory? But the truth is, when you move, you improve circulation, sending more oxygen and nutrients to your brain, helping it function better. Simple exercises like walking, stretching, or gentle yoga all stimulate the brain and improve short-term memory. I once met a 75-year-old man who walked for about 30 minutes around his neighborhood every day. He told me, when I walk, not only does my body feel stronger, but my mind feels clearer too. Science backs this up. Movement triggers the release of endorphins and other neurotransmitters that help improve focus and memory. Exercise is also a chance to practice mindfulness. As you walk, observe your surroundings, pay attention to your breathing, feel the rhythm of your body moving. It becomes a form of moving meditation, calming the mind and sharpening your awareness. If you've ever thought that memory loss with age is inevitable, I invite you to reconsider. Your brain has endless potential to renew itself, as long as you nourish it with the right habits. And I'm excited to continue sharing more ways you can improve your short-term memory, so every day feels clearer, your mind sharper, and your life more vibrant. If today's conversation has been helpful to you, please like this video and subscribe to the channel so we can keep learning and growing together. Let's make each day an opportunity to care for your brain, nurture mental clarity, and live fully at any age. Thank you for continuing this journey with me. Improving short-term memory after 65 is not something distant or difficult. In fact, it's decided by the small habits you choose every single day. In the previous part, we talk about the importance of focus and regular physical activity, 2 essential foundations for maintaining mental clarity. But that's just the beginning. If you truly want to improve your memory, you need to know how to gently stimulate your brain in ways that feel natural and enjoyable. Today, I want to continue sharing with you simple but powerful methods that will help keep your brain active, so you can stop worrying about forgetting and start enjoying each day with a clear, sharp mind. Have you ever noticed that you can remember a funny story for years, yet forget what you were about to do just seconds after thinking of it? That's because memory works in a special way. The things that make an impression on you stick around much longer. So one of the best ways to improve short-term memory is to create associations and emotional connections with the things you want to remember. Let me give you a simple example. If you meet someone new and quickly forget their name, it's probably because that name didn't create any association in your mind. But if you try to link it to something familiar, maybe their name reminds you of a friend from years ago or a favorite place you once visited, you're far more likely to remember it. I have an older friend who uses a lovely little trick. Whenever he meets someone new, he always repeats their name out loud during the conversation. For instance, he'll say, "So, Lon, do you often come to this park?" Or, "Hung, where do you live nearby?" This repetition helps his brain capture and store the information. If you try this, I believe you'll notice an improvement in your memory as well. In addition to creating associations, another wonderful way to improve short-term memory is to use your imagination and visualize what you need to remember. The human brain is remarkably good at remembering images. So instead of trying to memorize a dry list of words, turn them into a funny little story in your mind. Let's say you need to buy 3 items: milk, bananas, and bread. Rather than just repeating those words over and over, picture something playful. Imagine a bottle of milk wearing a banana hat and holding a loaf of bread, dancing across your kitchen table. It might sound silly, but the sillier it is, the better you'll remember it. You can use this visualization technique in all areas of life. If you want to remember an important appointment, picture yourself walking into that meeting, shaking hands, and having a conversation. If you want to remember where you place your keys, imagine them glowing brightly on the table or hanging from a sparkling hook. Your brain will latch onto these images and recall them much more easily. Now I want to share with you one of the most effective ways to train your short-term memory: learning something new every day. Each time you challenge your brain with new knowledge, it has to work to absorb, process, and retain that information. This activity stimulates the growth of new neural connections, keeping your mind flexible and young. And you don't need to learn anything too complicated. It could be as simple as learning a new word in a foreign language, trying out a new recipe in the kitchen, or listening to a song you've never heard before. If you enjoy art, try sketching a simple picture. If you love music, why not learn to play an easy instrument like the ukulele or harmonica? I once met a woman in her 70s who decided to learn how to use a smartphone and social media to stay connected with her grandchildren. At first, she struggled, but each day, she dedicated a little time to practicing. After just 1 month, not only could she make video calls, but she was also sending photos, typing messages, and even posting updates on Facebook. That process of continuous learning helped keep her memory sharp and her confidence high. Another wonderful tool for boosting short-term memory is reading and retelling what you read. After finishing a newspaper article or a few pages of book, try to summarize the content in your own words. You can share it with someone close to you or simply recite it quietly to yourself. This practice helps the brain organize information and strengthens memory naturally. An older gentleman I know reads a newspaper every morning, and afterward, he makes it a point to share the most interesting stories with his wife or friends. This daily habit not only keeps his mind sharp, but also strengthens his social connections. If you try this, I'm confident you'll notice a steady improvement in your ability to retain and recall information. As you can see, memory loss is not an inevitable part of aging. The brain, like any part of the body, responds beautifully to regular care and gentle exercise. Just a few small changes in your daily habits can lead to big improvements in your short-term memory, without the need for any complicated supplements or medications. If these insights have been helpful and inspiring to you, please like this video and subscribe to the channel so we can continue learning and growing together. I have so much more to share with you to help keep your mind sharp and your spirit young, so you can truly enjoy life at every stage. Let's care for our minds and live each day with clarity, purpose, and joy. Thank you for staying with me until the very end of today's conversation. And now, in this final part, I want to help you complete the full picture of how to improve your short-term memory after 65 in a way that's gentle, natural, and never stressful. I'd like you to imagine this. Your brain after the age of 65 is like a well-established garden. If it's watered, tended, and cared for, it will continue to flourish, blossom, and bear sweet fruit. But if neglected, weeds will grow, the soil will dry, and even the strongest plants will wither. Your memory is just like that garden. One of the most important elements in keeping that garden thriving is nurturing curiosity and the habit of learning. You probably heard the saying, when we stop learning, we start aging. This is absolutely true, not just for the body, but also for the mind. When you stop being curious, when you lose a desire to explore, your brain starts to slow down. That's the moment memory decline begins to accelerate. Let me share the story of Mr. Trong, an 82-year-old gentleman who continues to learn something new every day. Each morning, after his exercise routine, he spends about 30 minutes reading a newspaper article or a chapter of a book. He then writes down the new things he's learned in a small notebook. Sometimes it's a new quote, a phrase in English, or even a unique recipe he saw on television. In the evening, he takes out his notebook and reads it again, occasionally sharing what he's learned with his grandchildren. His diligence and joy in learning have kept him mentally sharp and full of life. You don't have to force yourself to learn complicated subjects. The key is to keep your mind open and embrace small, new things. Maybe you could learn how to use a new app on your phone. Try writing a short poem, plant a flower you've never grown before, or simply learn about a place you've never visited. Your brain will thank you for each of these small discoveries. Another simple but powerful habit to improve short-term memory is writing, keeping a daily journal or jotting down notes. When you write about what you've done, what you've learned, or simply record your thoughts, your brain naturally organizes that information and strengthens your recall. Writing not only preserves your memories, but also serves as a quiet form of meditation that brings peace and clarity to your mind. Some people have told me, I wouldn't know what to write. My days are simple and uneventful, but I always encourage them to start with the smallest details. Write about what you had for breakfast, who called you today, or a happy memory that popped into your mind. A small notebook, a pen, and just 10 minutes before bed. If you make that a daily habit, you'll be surprised at how much clearer and sharper your memory becomes over time. And never underestimate the power of music. Music isn't just food for the soul. It's also an excellent exercise for your brain. Try learning the lyrics to a new song, even if you think you'll never be able to memorize them. Start with simple melodies, then slowly learn each line and each verse. Singing the lyrics back forces your brain to coordinate memory, emotion, and movement if you sway along to the rhythm. This holistic activity is wonderful for the brain at any age. I've seen many older adults join dance classes or choir groups. At first, they worry they won't keep up. But after a few sessions, they're laughing, chatting, and enjoying themselves. Both their mood and memory noticeably improve. One lady once told me, "These days, I wake up feeling so clear-headed, remembering happy little things from years ago, and I just feel good." Healthy memory also grows stronger through warm relationships. Keep in touch with old friends. Call them often. Set aside time for coffee dates or casual walks in the park. When we share laughter and conversation, the brain is flooded with positive energy and releases chemicals that protect long-term memory. Let me tell you about 2 lifelong friends I've known. They've been friends for over 40 years and still meet once a week to walk and talk. They reminisce about everything, from daily routines to childhood memories. They both say that these meetups help them stay sharp and mentally alert. I believe them wholeheartedly. And finally, remember that optimism is one of the greatest tonics for the brain. A light-hearted spirit, one that can find joy in small moments, will help your brain function at its best. When something unpleasant happens, gently remind yourself, this too shall pass. Tomorrow is a new day. Smile more often, even if it's just to yourself while watching a funny video or recalling a fond memory. Your memory is a reflection of how you live each day. When you stay focused, keep moving, remain curious, write things down, listen to music, nurture relationships, and maintain a positive outlook, all these small habits become the nutrients that feed your brain. You'll find that not only will you remember better, but you'll also feel happier and more youthful each day. If what I've shared today has touched your heart, please like this video and subscribe to the channel so we can continue walking this journey together. I'll be here, sharing practical insights and warm stories, helping you care for your brain and fill your spirit with joy. And always remember, Whether you're 65, 70, or even 80 years old, your memory can still improve. All it takes is belief and starting with the smallest steps today.